Hello, thank you for taking the time to check out today's video and welcome to my channel. My name is Chris. We talk all about koi ponds, water gardens, aquatic plants, pond filtration, pond fish, the whole bit here. I have well over 100 videos for you guys on all different kinds of topics related to ponds and water gardens. If you're interested in this subject, please take some time, subscribe to the channel, take a look at all the videos here. I'm sure there's some videos that can be of interest to you and hopefully maybe help you out with something. So whether you're a beginner just building your pond for the first time, or you have a pond, you're an experienced pond owner, maybe you're looking at learn something a little different or a little new, get some information on something. Hopefully, I can help you out here on this channel, and please use all the playlists that I have here because I have all different categories of videos to help you kind of navigate around and find what you're looking for. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate your support. And today we are just doing a short video here. Nothing crazy, nothing unique. I basically just want to tell you about a pond that actually I did not build, but I've been maintaining for a few years. And I want to just tell you the kind of story about the pond, what it was when I first started working for this client, and what we did to improve it, and point out some things about it that I want to stress to you to hopefully help you guys out a little bit along the way. So basically, this is a very formal pond. It's made out of concrete. I'm sure that whoever built his pool probably did the pond like at the same time. It's about an 8-foot by 8-foot square, very formal, all made out of concrete. It has a pool bottom drain. On the bottom it has a pool skimmer in the side, and it has 2 returns in the side wall, one in the back wall, one on the side wall. All the pool equipment, filtration equipment, was all Hayward. It was a big Hayward pump on this. There was a Hayward sand filter on this. There was no UV lights or anything. It was just the pool equipment, the pump and the sand filter. When this client had called me, the pond was a mess. It wasn't running. I don't believe that it was running for a while. The sand filters were so clogged up with crap that it wouldn't even backwash. I couldn't even get the water to go through it. The pond was disgusting. Basically, it had all rocks and gravel in the bottom of the pond that were just loaded with muck and sludge and leaves and all kinds of stinky garbage. We basically came in to drain, clean the pond, and set it up so that it's going to run, okay, and function properly. So we drained and cleaned this pond, and my strong suggestion to the homeowner was to remove all the rocks and gravel out of this thing, being that it was just covered in muck. So he agreed, that we should do that. However, I never knew how much rock and gravel was in the bottom of this pond. The pond was literally probably just a little over 2 feet deep, when we got there, only to find out that once we removed the rock and gravel out of the bottom, the pond was like 3 feet deep. All right, so there was, I want to say, at least 8 to 10 inches of gravel and rock in the bottom of this pond, all of which was just covered and full of sludge. All right, black, stinky sludge. It was a mess. We removed a couple tons of gravel out of the bottom of this pond. It was unbelievable. I actually got myself into something a lot more than what I thought it would actually be to remove it. But whatever. We got it all out. We power washed the whole thing, cleaned up the whole pond. I put on a whole new pump and filter system on it. Okay, we used a Performance Pro Artesian 2 pump that was 1/8 horsepower, 3,900 gallons per hour. It's a low RPM pump. It runs only on about 3 amps, a little over 3, maybe 3.5 amps. I don't even think it's that, to be honest with you. I'd say around 3. The old pump was a Hayward pump. It was like a 1 horsepower pump that drew like 10.5 amps. Somewhere in like that too. It was crazy. All right. The sand filter was non-functional. We cannot use sand filters, pool filters on a pond. Okay. Do not do that. It's a pool filter. It's meant to go on a pool. All right. Sand in a pond filter is terrible because it's too fine of a media and it clogs extremely quickly. So in a pool, we have clean, clear water. We have chlorinated water, okay? Sand will work fine. In a pond environment with fish waste, dirt, algae, you know, God knows whatever else, it clogs much too easily, all right? So this sand filter had to go. I mean, no question. I couldn't even backwash it. It was so clogged up with crap. So we put on an Aqua Ultraviolet Ultima 2 4,000 gallon bead filter, all right, as well as a 40 watt Aqua Ultraviolet UV light. So set, we're good to go. Everything was great. We filled it back up. We got them some new fish, put 2 tropical water lilies in it. Some of the tiles, now he had tiles about 4 or 5 inches down around the top underneath the coping. Some of the tiles were falling off. At the time he wasn't too concerned about it. He's like, I don't care, I just, you know, want it up and running. I want it to look nice. You know, the tiles I'll worry about another time. Okay, so you know, we filled it all back up, got his fish, got a couple tropical water lilies in there, and we had a slow leak in the pond, which we had beforehand too, but there was a slow leak in the pond, which we determined the water level went down to just below one of the return pipes in the side wall, up on the top. So we let it go for that year. It wasn't too bad, but there was a leak in it. But the pond stayed clean, the pond stayed clear, everything worked great. This spring, he had the tiles redone around the top of the pond, and at the same time we drained the pond, cleaned it all out, you know, just washed it down, and we applied a black neoprene liquid rubber coating around the entire inside of the pond, basically to seal it so hopefully we would stop the leak. So we did all that. I wish I had pictures of it. You know, knowing that I do these videos on YouTube, you would think by now I would learn I gotta take pictures of my work in progress so I can show you guys. But, you know, I didn't. But anyway, I do have another video here on this channel all about those liquid neoprene rubber coatings and those different types of you know, paints and coatings for the ponds that we do use to cover concrete and stuff. So please check that out. But I used a product here called Pond Guard, which was really nice. We used several gallons of that here to coat this pond, and it came out, you know, a beautiful black coating on the entire, you know, bottom and sides of the pond. We painted it all the way up to the bottom of the tile around, you know, around the top of, you know, underneath the coping, and filled it all back up with water. A couple days later, put his fish back in, and it was great. It wasn't leaking at all, so we solved that problem. Now, a couple weeks after I, you know, got everything up and running, I put 2 more tropical water lilies in it. Every year we put we had put the tropical water lilies in it the year previous after I had originally drained it and cleaned it, and he loved them. So this year he wanted 2 more. So I did. I went out, I bought them. You know, they were, you know, when they're small plants, they got maybe, you know, 4 or 5 little leaves on them, maybe a bud or 2 sticking up, whatever, when we put them in the pond. They're actually sitting on large cement blocks to raise them up near the surface, because the pond is, you know, almost 3 feet deep. So we brought them back up, so now the pot is just a couple inches under the surface of the water. And I put those plants in and everything was great, and I left. I was back there about a month later to check on the pond and backwash the filters and clean the filters and all, and I was really, really impressed on how nice that pond looked. So I wanted to take some pictures and some videos here to show you this, how clean and clear the water is now. There is no leak, the fish are looking great, and the water lilies grew incredibly well and fast, right? So in 1 month's time, they went from having a couple little leaves on them to this. Now, mind you, they're out in the full sun. They love the sun, right? And the water's warm. They're growing great. But the whole point here that I want to show you with this pond is take a look at the fish swimming around here. All right, look how nice and clean and clear the water is. My question to you is, did you notice that there's no rock or gravel on the bottom? Right? It's just black concrete on the bottom. Now, the reason why I say that is a lot of times I go to people's houses who are interested in building a new pond, and when they ask me, you know, what kind of, you know, what's the kind of rock and gravel and stuff do I use in the pond, and I say I don't put rock and gravel in the bottom of my ponds, simply because I do all my ponds with 4-inch bottom drains and gravity fed filter systems. All right, I have a whole video on that to explain how that all works. But basically, rock and gravel in the bottom of the pond will clog up any of my drains and thus not allow the filtration system to work. All right, I want my ponds clean, clear and clean. I don't want any debris building up in the bottom of the pond, building up in the rocks and gravel, rotting, decaying, stinking, you know, all that kind of stuff. I want a clean pond. Just me, the way I do it, all right? But I get a lot of, you know, response sometimes from people who, you know, I tell them, no, I don't put any rocks and gravel in my ponds. And, you know, they look, well, what do you have in the bottom? Just the ugly black liner, right? Yeah. But you get the natural green slime coat on it anyway, and you don't even notice it, all right? I'm sure you're looking at this picture and you weren't looking and saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe this pond doesn't have any rock and gravel in the bottom, right? No, I bet you're saying, wow, look how clear that water is. The fish are all swimming around. Look at the water lilies. Look at, you know, right? All right, so this is my point. Please check out my other videos too. I have another video that specifically deals with, you know, the difference between ponds with rock and gravel in the bottom and ponds without it. Now, don't get me wrong, I get it. I am the minority when it comes to not putting rock and gravel in my pond, all right? All the landscapers, all those people, that's what they do because it looks natural, okay? But half the time, those landscapers that are building those ponds are not the ones that have to come back and maintain them and clean them. Okay, so that's me. And I can't tell you how many times I get calls from people to drain and clean ponds that are a disgusting mess because they're all full of rock and gravel. All right, now I'm not saying that everybody's pond that has rock and gravel in it is a disgusting mess, all right, but they need to be maintained. But there's a lot of times where this is, you know, I see some really disgusting stuff, and it's not in my ponds. I don't have to drain and clean my ponds. I have nothing built up. No muck, sludge, leaves, muck, garbage, anything built up in the bottom of my ponds. Because I have bottom drains and everything goes right out into my filters where I can clean it there. All right. So yeah, whole different thing. But this was a big point of mine. Look how nice this pond looks, right? Crystal clear. Everything's healthy. The water lilies are growing amazing. The fish are swimming around. I mean, this is a real joy. In fact, this homeowner recently just sent me a video of this pond for no reason other than the fact that he was sitting out by the pond saying, wow, look how nice this looks. And he just took a video of it and sent it to me, you know, and he wrote on it, like, looks great. So, you know, that's the whole goal here, right? When we build a pond, we want them to be something that we can enjoy and not be something that's a nightmare, a big headache. which a lot of ponds can be if they're not set up right. So again, yeah, that's basically, you know, what I wanted to share with you here today. Just to show you this pond, give you an idea. It's a very formal pond, right? It's a little different than natural rocks and gravel and stuff. There's no waterfall on it. This is actually set in a little courtyard. And it's a little different style. And it's set up originally with pool equipment, but I was able to use the existing plumbing. Thank God, everything was still, you know, we were able to do that and adapt to it a pond filter system, and the pond is great. So yeah, really kind of neat. I hope you kind of enjoyed seeing it, and thank you very much for watching. You know, please hit the likes, the thumbs up, you know, the like button, and subscribe to my channel. I really would appreciate the support, and take some time and look around. I got a ton of informational videos for you here, and a bunch of videos on ponds that I've built in the past few years. Some really large, extraordinary koi ponds, and some you know, smaller, unique ponds along the way too. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and we'll see you back soon. Have a great day. Bye.